I'd been black, but I'm a
wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little wiggle.
Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain.
And if they'd had enough sense to open a book and study history, they wouldn't be going out here and voting these Democrat tickets because the Klan was founded by Democrats.
Bitch, you think it's small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big, bitch. You need to be thinking big, bitch. Think big, bitch.
He was so cool.
He what?
He looked so cool.
You are now tuned in to Method Madness.
High, tight, wide, low, scummy. Depravity lurks on every corner. Pissy hallways, glitchy accommodations. Maintenance men with no understanding. Cigarette ash burns to the harmony of domestic situations. Foreigners come with dope, allying with the most lawless of the neighborhood, striking a rift in the homes of these sections of the city. Low amounts of inhibition plague the citizens. Low life expectancy sickens the mind. Lack of care for my neighbor. Better them than me. But there's a jubilance under all the shade the BS provides. Courage is mandatory. The minds, bodies, and souls are among the best in the world. Because of America's historical events, there were unintended consequences. This was constructed for segregation, but it would breed the nation's most popular people, the currency of the land. But I always wondered why. Why do hoods exist? And what effect do they have? Let's look into the method of madness. Why does the ghetto exist?
A dope dealer, fly nigga, it pop out from a ride, nigga. Gold yard, 100 racks inside, nigga. You a fuck, nigga.
So I had some digging to do. Back in the early 1900s, the first ghettos went up to house the victims of World War I and II. If you're a millennial like me, it would seem like they always existed. The occupants were minorities of the European ethnicity. They would pack into the nation's state capitals. Government funding had just became a thing, and this would ease the burden on the city's newly built housing projects. At first, the European mobs like Italians, Russians, and Irish had the first seat, but it wouldn't last long. They would climb out the ghettos, making room for the blacks coming from peppered places and rural areas around the nation. From the country to the city, the so-called Great Migration ushered in the modern life of African Americans, segregated in inner cities. Stuck in disenfranchised portions of the city, it was a struggle to get things back started after the race riots. The race riots were the results of all things racist that happened to the parents of that generation. Basically, Jim Crow, KKK, the destruction of Black Wall Street, just burning shit down. They were upset at the destruction that was caused to all the black wealth, health, and knowledge in the early 1900s, and this was the government's response to the uproar.
It's one of the most overlooked stories of American history, and it features one very big number.
6 million.
6 million.
6 million.
That's the number of African Americans who took part in the Great Migration. Over the course of 60 years, they moved from the southern states to the north and west. And by doing so, they transformed the face of America.
It really changed the whole notion of our nation.
It led to some of the greatest cultural, social...
It would have been cool if I'd been black, but I'm a
wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little wiggle.
The hood is a specific thing. Even though many people misuse the word when speaking about it, it's actually part of the neighborhood you'd rather not go to if you're not from there. Where your mother and fathers told you not to hang out at are generally the places they call the hood. It can easily be seen from a bird's eye view if you outline the areas that accept Section 8. You would think the places that accept Section 8 would be the most well kept, being that the money is guaranteed, but it's the exact opposite. For some reason, people look at the surface level and would blame it solely on attendance, but it's much deeper. Landlords care less about their occupants here, but receive more, not to say much. This place is drug infested, another curiously placed phenomenon, being the chemicals for the task are found nowhere around. Again, another story. But the best part is the people. Strong, funny, smart, creative, resilient. From barbecues to fist fight, it's all love. The surroundings ain't the best, but they try. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. These contentious conditions cause a culture with the undertone of survival. People are at their wits' end and will do anything to get ahead. As would you. Time seems to be the biggest factor. With some quick math, we can easily see why a lot of people, no matter the shade, choose to turn to crime. There's simply hardly enough time to make it. So it seems. The concept of hood was created to limit the abilities to perceive opportunity. Be all that you can be. It's true. People judge the occupants of this portion of the city, and it all starts with the title, the hood, insinuating you deserve less respect than the average human. Basically, second-class citizens. The term hood is really a dog whistle for respect them less.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale.
It's all for control. And you would ask, why would anyone want this much control? But anything a human can get, they can find a way to want more. It's all about presumption. They want you to believe there's no hope. Why do they want this? Out of pure greed and the human tendency to eliminate competition, people gravitate to the things that will save them trouble. Sometimes, as a human, it's hard to overcome those animalistic urges, even when we think we are. We're not. We aren't much different than the other occupants of this planet. Some things are peaceful, some things are destructive. We're all looking for that happy medium of both. We fall short most times, but progression is the ideal. Because there seems to be weakness in Anglo blood, they lean into survival behaviors. Knowing how strong the pull of survival mode is, they leverage it to pause the minds of their adversaries.
What the hell? Oh my.
Thus, the hood was born. A way to disrespect certain portions of the population to further the security of the ruling race of the land. The term hood is used so people would think less of its occupants with no one to blame. Hood, ghetto, poor, criminal. Hood is what makes living while black probable cause. When you hear hood, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?